Hello, welcome to day number 8 on our 10-day relationship challenge. Welcome to Monday. Before we go into today's topic, let's recap the weekend's topics. On Saturday, on day 6, your mission was about keeping a journal. Why journaling is important? There are many aspects, but two I would like to point out. One of them is you are keeping a log about your life, about your decisions and commitments. And why is it important to keep this log? It's a good way to keep track of what's happening in your life. You can always go back and see what has happened, and you can take a new look from another perspective on your past. And also, it's important because by journaling, you are meeting yourself. You are meeting your inner self, your thoughts, your feelings, your creativity, your life. And you will see the story that you are telling yourself. And this is also why journaling might be intimidating for people. Pen and paper are like Excel sheets. They are completely ruthless. They are honest, given that you are honest with yourself. And when you're keeping track of how you are changing, how your life is changing, then and also of the decisions and commitments, then it's easier for you to understand why sometimes melancholy, or in worst case depression, is coming in. Melancholy is telling you that you are not living up to your own promises. You're not living up to your own decisions. And if you have a good log about your own decisions, then it's easier to understand, okay, what have I promised to myself that I'm currently compromising or not fulfilling. So that much about journaling. On Sunday, the mission was to take responsibility for having the person in your life. The word responsibility, I really like this word because it means the ability to respond, the ability to offer something in return. And how do you take responsibility for the relationships? There is a very simple, not always easy, but a very simple question. How am I contributing to this relationship? So if there is a challenging relationship with your child or your ex-partner, and I'm bringing those examples because these relationships tend to be very challenging, then there's something which you are doing which causes the other person to respond the way they are responding, to which in return you are responding the way you are. So there is something which is kind of under your control, which you can change. So if you have had recently an argument, then look for your part in this argument. And now about today's mission, making allowances for the differences between males and females. Before we go into any discussion, let's set the terms. When we are talking about social beings, we are saying the words man and woman. This is the physical gender, this is the social being operating on this physical space. When we are using terms male and female, we are referring to polarities of awareness. And everybody has both polarities. And they are different. So, about if we are making allowances for the differences, first of all, let me mention that we are returning to this topic in the upcoming days. And for today, it's completely enough that we just make space that there are differences. And one of the source of confusions, in my opinion, is that we are confusing two words, equal and the same. Being equal doesn't mean that we are all the same. We are very different people. Even amongst women, we are very different women, and men are very different from each other. And this is completely fine. We are different, but in the eyes of life, we're all equal. So the differences are also necessary because where there is difference, there is a bit of a conflict. And if there is conflict in the sense of your view on this does not match with mine, and then there's a conflict and there's a difference. And what we can do in this situation is to discover or uncover why aren't our views matching? What are you seeing that I am not seeing at the moment? So, in this situation, if we use conflict constructively, we are learning. And if we are learning, we are growing. So, that's why we want to allow the differences. But one other thing on the basis of today's task is that our life demands us to play both roles, males, masculine roles and feminine roles. But if I want to live up to my true potential, then I could and I should choose the roles that are in accordance to my potential. If I'm a woman, which I am, my potential is in femininity, meaning that I am very good at being superficial. I'm biased towards emotion and feeling. I tend to see the big picture. I tend to see maybe also the negative, like why things might not work out. Um, and for the male, they are very solution oriented. They're as if they're hunters going out for the prey. They tend to be also vertical, kind of if a man goes into a topic, they go very kind of deep into. If I'm using my male polarity, I go into the topic. It also sounds in the language that I'm going into the topic. As opposed to if I'm using feminine polarity on the same topic, I take a broad picture view, try to understand how things match together, what depends on what, and then kind of see all the interdependence and interrelationship of different parts in the same topic. So yeah, let's allow ourselves to be different from each other, but still keeping in mind that we are equal regardless of the differences. And one beautiful example of the how this works in practical life is in dancing. So it is said that in dancing, man leads first himself and then includes the female to where he's going. And it is the woman's job to take care of the needs of the moment, or in the dance example, to make the dance beautiful, to kind of illustrate with beautiful figurines. And yeah, so today's task, we also made the task very practical to understand what is happening in your house. So how do you feel when you're doing dishes, or how do you feel when you are fixing some pipes or something else in the home? How do you feel when you are taking care of plants or your room? Or how do you feel when you go and try to find a new TV for your home, for example? So they are different, those approaches and those tasks. They also make us feel differently. Thank you. We will see you again tomorrow, 1 o'clock Tallinn time.